Hey nerds, Farmer Jesse here in classic Farmer Jesse form, which is to say outside, I guess, to do a video for you today detailing how to scale up from homestead or backyard gardening to full-blown farm. So let's do it. All right, so the goal with this video is to give a quick and dirty overview of taking a backyard or home scale or hobby scale operation into the realm of, well, a business. The cool thing is that if you already have a small homestead, you are primed to scale up your operation to the farm business level, but there are a few absolutely critical things to consider. But first, I want to tell you about the folks making this particular Farmer Jesse video possible, toda'y. toda'y is the maker of Aquatrax Azul, the most clog-resistant irrigation drip tape on the market. Its multi-stage filters inside the emitters are a game changer, stopping debris and keeping everything flowing smoothly with a low 100 mesh filtration requirement. This breakthrough enhances clog resistance and empowers growers to attain superior longitudinal, love that word, crop bed irrigation uniformity. Aquatrax Azul is available in 9 emitter flows spanning from ultra low flow to high flow. Emitter spacings range from 4 to 24 inches. There are 6 different tape diameters and 6 thicknesses, so that you can customize and select the best drip irrigation for your crop, region, and soil type. Learn more at toro.com/agriculture. All right, so let's dive into this idea of transitioning a homestead into a farm business. First, I need to check and make sure I'm recording. Good. First, I'm assuming here that you are producing something, anything on somewhat of a small scale, and are considering taking that to the next, which would be the business level. Great. If you're not to that point yet, that's fine too, totally. Maybe you are thinking you want to start a homestead to test the waters and then go from there. Fantastic. There will still be plenty in here for you, but I just want to say that if you are able to grow something wherever you are, anything, that is an awesome position to be in. It's awesome because if you have a job and an income and a roof over your head, you have time to really do this right. In fact, if you have some way to grow stuff, you're possibly in the prime position to ultimately start a farm, gaining experience at home while you plan your business. Making a rash, fast decision instead of a slow, calculated one could simply lead to a rash, fast farming failure. So don't do that. Instead, let's do this the safest way possible, shall we? Now, I have already done a video about starting a farm business that you kind of just have to watch. Sorry, but just consider it homework with dad jokes. That doesn't sound so bad. It goes over all the romantic technical stuff like budgets and business plans. You'll love it, it's great. But specifically, if you're going from homestead to farm scale, there are a few unique things to this that I want to use this video to tack on. I always tell farmers, especially in the beginning, to keep it simple and really dial in what they're doing. So it might sound a bit weird that I'm going to advise folks currently on a homestead scale to kind of consider doing the exact opposite. What I mean is that on a micro scale, before you've really figured out of the 10 million things you can do with soil, which one might be your favorite, I would try several different ideas that you're curious about on your homestead to understand what you do and don't like to produce. Get some animals, start some gardens, grow some mushrooms, whatever you're thinking sounds fun. Just throw down on some weird stuff and just see what speaks to you. That, to me, is what a homestead is for. Learning, playing, trialing, and getting delicious food in the process. You definitely do not want to do that phase, that trial everything phase, when your livelihood is on the line after you start a farm. In fact, trialing a bunch of stuff on a homestead scale is somewhat how our farm started. I know that for me and my wife, when we were just getting into farming, we got a chance to try basically everything, from hens to ducks to goats and pigs, plus almost every type of vegetable, even forest herbs. Afterwards, there were a few animals like sheep that we really liked, and we found we were really fond of gardening. So when we started to look for land, we were looking for land that had some room for animals and some garden space, because those were the two things that we knew we loved and had a knack for and wanted to do. Maybe you think you want to market garden now, but how do you know that for sure? It may turn out that you're actually super into mushrooms and that you find that work is more satisfying. That could inform tremendously what kind of land you get, assuming you don't already have land, though if you do, maybe this small experiment reveals where to pour your startup capital. So that's the first thing. The second thing, especially as you learn what you do and don't love to do, is to figure out what the market looks like. This could be going to farmers markets and seeing if there are vendors selling your same goods, talking to the market manager, the other farmers. Maybe you know a few of the customers, what they are struggling to find locally that can actually be grown locally. Again, if you have a place now, there is no reason to rush into a farm and have to scramble to identify the market while you're producing. Do that work now and avoid the stress later. Another beautiful thing about having not scaled up yet is that you really can really budget things out and get the capital together for whatever endeavors sound the most enjoyable and financially viable for you. I just cannot emphasize enough how poorly we on our farm underestimated what it would take to start a farm financially. Farms are not the most expensive business to start in the world, but, and forgive the double negative here, they're not nothing. Of course, some of you will have the land and the capital already to start at least one profitable venture right out of where you are now. And depending on what it is, starting small, maybe at a farmer's market, to get your name out there and start building your brand and customers base is a really nice perk of starting from the homestead scale. It is not uncommon for folks on that scale to start with one or two main products, go to the market for the main season, taking some good data the whole time, of course, and build on that. It requires your time, of course, and farmers markets can be very labor intensive, but you know, you're talking about starting a business and entrepreneurship is brutal like that. Earlier this week, I did a Growers Daily episode talking about the pros and cons of farmers markets. That might be helpful to you if you really want to pursue this. You will have to do all the other not very romantic business stuff I mentioned, the family budget, the farm budget, the business plan, the swear jar, all that stuff. There's just absolutely no way to skip those steps. And I go through some of that in the video I mentioned earlier that I will link in the show notes as well. But the beauty of having a homestead and not just skipping straight to the farm business thing is that you can test the waters. I mean, all of them, all of the waters, and do it safely with minimal risk and investment. When you jump straight to owning and running a farm, the inexperience and lack of a customer base and everything else business related can really challenge it. Also, another cool thing is that you can kind of start chatting with other people in the same boat to see if maybe there's a way to collaborate with them. You don't have to combine businesses, but maybe there are other opportunities to combine forces and reduce risk. I don't know, like sharing booth space at a farmer's market, combining on a CSA, whatever could benefit both parties with the least amount of risk. Or heck, maybe you do team up and you start a co-op or some other collaboration like that. It's easier to do that sort of stuff in the beginning than after you're already established. As I'm often saying, we are a little too precious about the business of farming. In very few other successful small businesses would we not seek out partners, and farms can be the same thing. Farms can have the same approach. Of course, really focus in on getting as much production experience as you can, even if that means helping a nearby farmer or working for another farm while you slowly get your plan together. There is hardly a better opportunity in the world than gaining experience and getting paid for it. So anyway, I hope all that was at least a little bit helpful, and I'm going to leave it there for now. I will link that other video I mentioned in the show notes. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel to get my daily podcast, the Growers Daily, as well as these sorts of guides that I will occasionally pull off when I find the time miraculously like I did today. There will be significantly more content on this particular subject in the near future. So yeah, subscribe. Pick up a copy of the Living Soil Handbook at no-tillgrowers.com. Join the Patreon page at patreon.com/no-tillgrowers to support our work and get a shout out on Growers Daily as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Bye. Woo, that wind, it feels better than it sounds. Probably.